Good morning all and welcome to the next session for the pre-orientation program. We'll just start in a minute. Okay, so I formally welcome Mr. Kapil Sharma with us. He is Vice President at Netsmartz Infotech Private Limited, and with an experience of more than 17 years of qualitative experience at IT in strategic consulting services (ERP), and various facets of program management, customer relationship management, solution architect, IT application, and project monitoring. He has successfully accomplished multiple end-to-end Microsoft Dynamics implementations in different domains: automobile, manufacturing, trading, service, hospitality, and government organizations globally, and have a rich experience in handling clients from diverse nationalities, cultures, and language. He has strong hands-on experience on NAV development and testing methodologies being used widely in Dynamics implementations. So, not taking too much of time, I'll welcome formally Kapil, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vartika, and good morning, everyone. I would say it's I appreciate you guys inviting me and giving me a platform to talk to your students. Thanks to the management and the faculty, boys and girls. I would say congratulations to all of you. Few of you must have been graduated recently, and I know few of you might have been having gained some corporate experience before you plan to join a reputed college like Jaipuria. So allow me to share my screen so that we set the right stage and expectations, what we are going to go through in the next 60 minutes. Yeah. All right. Today's topic is digital revolution. It's been close to my heart in a sense that I've been a victim of this so-called digital revolution, and that's why I feel like I can share my experiences over the last 18 years whenever I was in whenever I was in Japan or Singapore or US. So I can explain your students what they can expect over the next 15 years or so, and how they can well prepare about it. Boys and girls, I would say have a look at this agenda. What we are going to go through. The only reason is that you can expect what's coming next. And one thing I wanted to assure you that I'm not a business coach. I'm not a motivational speaker. Neither I'm a expert on this topic we're talking about. One thing I can assure you that the next 60 minutes you're going to have fun. In a sense, you'll gain the knowledge about the research we have done and my personal experiences over the last 18 years in the industry, working in countries like Europe and Asia Pacific, Middle East, and North America. So I'm just setting up a stage. This is what is coming up. And Dr. Vartika, would it be fine? I mean, if we take the QA session in the end and people can write in the chat box and
sure. I'll do that. I'll do that.
All right. So again, one more time, I would say, boys and girls, congratulations for getting into your dream college. And I know the next 2 years gonna be the life-changing event in a sense that they're gonna be impacting your career in a big way, of course, in a positive way, and that is why you are here as well. Yeah. So allow me to introduce myself, and there is a reason I wanted you all to know about me. As I said, first of all, I've been a victim of the digital revolution. In the last 18 years, it's been 2 times when the fast-paced environment hit me and kicked me, rather, I would say, in and out. And then that's where I learned that, the pace this global economy is changing, probably, we are not keeping up with the pace. And when I'm using the word we, it's important for you to understand that over the next 20 years, you will go through a roller coaster ride, and there are going to be a lot of troughs in your career as well. And the most important factor which is going to bother you is the pace this industry is changing, the pace the digitization is happening. Are you guys ready for that? Yes or no? I don't know that. Are you guys prepared for that? At least we'll prepare you something in the next 60 minutes so that you're well aware, what can come left, right, center, and kick you out of the race altogether. And with the next 2 years, your teachers, your faculties will anyways train you in and out. They'll make the men out of the boys. However, at the same time, I also wanted to share my experiences, what went wrong, what could have been better, and what you guys can do better. All right, so approximately I've got 18 years of experience, as Dr. Vartika already shared. I've worked across different countries in Middle East, in Japan, in Singapore, in North America. So what I learned, one thing, working with different nationals, in different geographies, in different time zones, one thing is pretty common which is that everyone is experiencing that digitization pace is way faster than they are preparing themselves for the next 5 years. So it's not something that somebody in India is experiencing this, or maybe some in another country. It's a global thing, and which is good or bad, I will leave it for you guys to decide on that side of it. Right? Now, currently, I'm working as a vice president for a company called Netsmartz. We are a US-based company based out in New York, and I'm handling a team of approximately 100 folks based out in all across the globe, I would say. So that is a high-level introduction about myself. Yeah. So we'll go next. I want to take a step back here, and since a lot of you have studied economics, I know that somebody might have been from the BCom background, or maybe BB. Everybody would have understood economics. But before we get into the digital revolution thing, let me give you a full circle of how our economy works, and how this digitization is impacting our economy. So first thing is information. You buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a jewelry for your girlfriend or your wife, you want to buy a Rolex watch for your boyfriend or your husband, no matter whatever you need. You want to get your kids into a school, you want to get into a college like Jaipuria, whatsoever it is, any aspect of your life. One thing is important, that you guys need information. Yes or no? I believe yes. Right? Everybody needs information. You want to buy a car, you need to gather information, how many horsepower, what cc, and what not, so that then you can take a decisive action on that side. So now what has happened over the years, everybody realized, the rich and powerful realized, that if we can fasten up this information, we can fasten up the development as well. You need to read a newspaper 10 years back to understand what's happening in Mumbai. How many people died in the tsunami. Now, do you need to wait for one day? You don't, right? So that is what is called digital revolution. So I'm trying to link you guys, and I'll take it to further to what you guys are going to do in the next 2 years as well. Just I'm linking it up between the both sides of it. So information is first and the foremost pillar of our economy. If we do not have any information, we cannot do anything. There is no business out there as well, right? Next is interaction, pretty much important. Everybody gathered the information about the Jaipuria college. Oh, it's a good college. It's based out in Ghaziabad. It's a nice college, good faculty, good placement, good campus, fine. But then the next step says, you need to interact with the faculty. Some of you might have interacted with Dr. Vartika, or maybe other faculty or counselors, or then you got to know that, yeah, this is a good college. I can jump into, I can, rely my career onto it. So this is an example of the life, guys. Once you have the information, second step is you need to interact with the people, so that based on the information and based on the interaction, you can take the next steps. And what is the next step? We'll talk about it as well. So far, I believe yes or no. I think nobody can Dr. Vartik, everybody is, they cannot say, right? I mean, they cannot talk on this, right?
So they can write in the chat box, whatever you want.
All right, fair
You can
enough.
ask questions and they can write the answers in the chat box.
Okay, fair enough. So keep writing and, keep giving your answers in a yes or no when I say, at least you're getting it what I'm saying, so that, we are feeling more engaged on that side. All right, so this is pure economics. There's nothing related with the digital revolution as of now, so far, whatever we have covered. Now, the last is transaction. This is where, everything happens. You have to pay a decent amount of fee to Jaipuria College if you wanted to get into college, unless you have got 100% scholarship, is fine. But so whenever transaction happens, guys, then only economy moves. If nobody pays other folks, nobody pays anybody out, economy is not moving at all. If I'm paying Jaipuria College is paying somebody else, and that somebody else is paying somebody else. Now having these three pillars in front of us, the think tanks, rich and powerful, innovative minds, what they thought about is that, wherever we go, automotive industry, pharma industry, or, human resource folks out there, marketing people, if we can fasten up, if we can bring some innovations in these three parameters, it means, we can fasten up our economy as well. So that is why the concept of digital revolution hits what I've had somebody, and that's why, it all started, right? So we'll take it to the next slides. Help me understand, how it all started. We have already gone through the two phases of the digital revolution. It all started in early 90s and 2000, and let me give you a glimpse of it as well. So now see what happened when the World Wide Web came in. What happened? The information was available at a click of a button. You don't need to go to video libraries to check who was the producer of a movie Titanic. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to wait for the newspapers to get delivered in the morning to know what's happening in the globe. You don't need that. Everybody has a smartphone. The information is available on the fingertips. Every minute, every second, the information is available on real-time databases. So now what has happened? In the 1995, when the internet revolution happened, the whole game starts changing, because we have already gone past the industrial revolution by that time, and now it was time for a digital revolution. So the first thing, the good thing happened, or a bad thing, we'll talk about that as well, that information was available at a click of a button. Now what happened? You don't need to go to banks anymore to check what is the FD rates. You can get information with a click of a button. However, whenever any innovation happens, it comes with the dark sides and the implications as well. You are agreed to that, I'm sure, on that side. So what happened? When this thing happened, cyber attacks increased. You would never imagine that it will happen when we innovate something. The fake news starts coming into the picture as well. A lot of things happen on that side. But most important thing happened, that you and me, people like you and me, we got empowered in a sense that we are more powerful in a sense now. The information which used to be isolated within the central agencies or rich and powerful, anybody now can access the information. It's globally available. So the most important aspect about digitizing the whole world is empowering the people, empowering each and every single person in the planet. So we achieved that in 1995. We've already done that. Everybody is empowered. Whatever information is available with Bill Gates might be available with you as well, to an extent. I would say that, right? Whatever information is available to Joe Biden in US, a lot of information is available with you as well. Of course, you don't know when they are dropping a nuclear bomb to anybody else. So that's a separate story, right? Now, second revolution happened approximately in 2005, which we call it as Internet of Interaction. When we say Internet of Interaction, what does it mean? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchats. We all got bombarded with these technologies, and we never realized that our life is going to change forever and ever and ever. Right now, today, with just a click of a tweet or maybe a one Snapchat video, you can shake the central government. Kangana Ranaut is doing that. So I don't encourage you guys to follow anybody else. So imagine, boys and girls, what is happening every minute. 500,000 tweets are happening across the globe. 500,000 is a big number every minute. Now, out of those 500 tweets, you guys are doing, or me doing, anybody else is doing, we are shaking the governments. We are shaking the the think tanks. We're shaking the rich and powerful. One strong tweak can change the game altogether. So and again, one more thing you should all be aware about, that every minute 160 emails gets exchanged. 160 million emails get exchanged. Means now what has happened is, with this digitization, information click, interaction click. You don't need to write a letter to your girlfriend. It will reach to them in the next 30 days in Philippines, or maybe in any part of the globe. You don't need to write a letter. It's everything at a click of a button. Now understand one thing, what has happened. As of now, I'm just talking about the good points, what has happened. So we'll see its implications as well. So what has happened is that you, me, everybody is more empowered now. We are powerful person now. Everybody in the planet is becoming more powerful. That is what is called digital revolution. Is information. We don't need to depend on anybody. Interactions. We are enjoying the freedom of a speech on social medias. We can say anything, and 6 billion people will listen to us. Whatever we are talking about. So that's the power. The revolution is given to you. You can even be as a active opposition to the government as well. People are doing that. You see what is happening. And according to a recent study, it's been told the general elections in India in 2030 will be won by over the digital marketing. It's not going to be the campaigns which either Narendra Modi or Congress government has been doing it, having a big road shows. It will be won over an internet. So that's the power of bringing technology to each and every person in the planet out there. Now, I wish to stop here in a sense that.
Yeah, I wanted to stop here. So you have witnessed the, you can say the inception, and then the birth, and then we are working on the various platforms, okay, in various divisions. So as the, maybe a journey from the executive to VP. So if you can sum up and tell us that how was the journey and how you have witnessed it, what all changes have it been done in the, maybe in the various phases of organization?
Yeah, fair enough. So basically I'm a programmer by blood, I'm a technical person, when way back in 2004, when I started my journey, I was a programmer. And I shouldn't be saying that I felt my self-assessment that I was a decent programmer at that time. So within 4 or 5 years, then I started, going countries in APAC and Middle East, and I realized that I'm doing pretty well. All of a sudden, there is a technological change happened within the organization, within the technology, within the Microsoft framework. Then I felt like, the new boys who are joining in, they are much sharper than me. They are much sharper than my peers, and they are much sharper than all the experienced people out here in the organization now. And we were in a comfort zone because we were able to perform our duties well. We were able to perform our deliveries well. So then that was something, Dr. Vartika, it was the first hit. When I say, it was a kick, we got kicked out, and then we realized we were late in analyzing the change happening in the industry. So the next 5 years, what we did was we keep on exploring ourselves. We keep on exploring what's going to happen, so that nobody can come and in the technology cannot kick us left, right, center, and then we are out of the race altogether. So what we learned is, at least a message to all the young boys and girls listening out to the conversation. Forget about you might be getting into an HR or marketing or business development in the next 2 years. Fine, that's fine. That's your bread and butter. Forget about that. So my message to them is, learn well, do your job well, but keep your eyes and ears open for the next 5 years, so that you're well prepared about what's happening around, and then you don't get kicked out about it. Right? So Dr. Vartika, did I answer your question?
Sure. Yeah, done. So we may move ahead.
Yeah, all right. So now before showing you, what is the third, now understand one more thing, boys and girls. These two revolutions are directly proportional to the two pillars of the economy. First was information, second was interaction. So with the technology, information is much faster now. With the technology, interaction is much faster now. And I believe everybody is using chatbots and whatnot these days. You don't need to go to Jaipuria College to check your curriculum. Everything is available. So understand what has happened when these two pillars of the economy got digitized. Then lot of job shift starts happening. Uh, you know I will show you with a pictorial presentation as well in the next slides. The job which was highly demanded in 2010 is totally obsoleted in 2020. And again, a small message for everybody out here. So since you are at a starting phase of your career and you want to do well in your career, so what I'm trying to convey is that be open to what's gonna happen next. Do not ever sit in your comfort zone. Otherwise, technology will come and you will not realize what has happened to you. Uh, is there any question, Dr. Vartika? It seems like something is popping.
No.
Okay.
I just said that they can ask the question, and when Kapil said here that you have to come out of your out of your comfort zone, it can be any comfort zone. So you want to learn a skill, you want to learn a trade, you are not IT savvy, whatever is like new thing, you have to be open and learn it wise. This is all actually what he meant to say here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Vartika, for summarizing that. Another small example, uh, uh, all of you, your mother and fathers, your parents, they must have been a part of a group. So my mother is a part of a group, wherein they do all the bhajan and all that stuff. Because she cannot use the WhatsApp, she doesn't get some updates, what's happening next. So she learned the WhatsApp in the last 5 years. She learned that, and it was a project for her. It took her like 2.5 years to understand how WhatsApp works. But now she's more empowered. She gets the information. So again, an example for everybody out there. All right. Now we are entering into the third phase, or I would say the final phase. No idea. No guru can confirm that if that is going to be the final digital revolution we are entering to. Nobody knows that, which is the internet of transactions. Very important, and very interesting topic now going to happen. What is internet of transaction? I know there are a lot of boys and girls. They must be thinking it is already done. It's a thing of the past. We already have UPIs. We already have Google Pays and Paytms and whatnot. Fine, I get that point. So understand what is happening across the world now. You need a bank account to transact, right? You need a bank account. Fine. If you don't have a bank account, nobody can do anything. Whether you are using a Paytm or a Google Pay or Amazon Pay or whatnot, you cannot do that. What is happening in the next 9 years? In 2030, 90% of the ATMs in India are expected to be shut down. It's don't be scared of that. When I said that, the research says that, go and Google it later on, you'll find that 80 to 90% of the ATMs might not be required in 2030. Does it sound scary to you? Now, why so? Because you do not need a bank account to transact anymore in the future. That is where things are going on. You might have heard about cryptocurrency and Bitcoins and the blockchain and the IoTs and whatnot. That is where we are heading towards. I know it's not legal in India as of now. There are many countries where it is legal as well. So what is happening? You guys and me and everybody, every single person in the planet is being more empowered. We get the information at the click of a button. Yes, we can interact to anybody out there. Yes, we can finally, we can transact. Yes. So now I'm taking you back to the, Olas and Ubers. So, I'm not a lecturer or a philosopher. I don't want to give you that gyan kind of a story. The point is now we're heading towards driverless cars. Right? People will come, cars will come at your doorstep. You'll hop in, and then, everything gonna change. And example, I'll give you example. Horse riding used to be a basic necessity skill for a daily life routine 45 years back. horse riding. People used to travel on the horse. Now it is a fun. Same thing, driving, knowing how to drive a car is a necessity today. Trust me, it can be a fun in the next 19 years. In 2040, it's a hobby. You know, once in a year, you also drive a car because cars will drive by their own. And are you guys ready for that? I don't think so. If yes, good enough, you are at the right track. So this is what is happening around, you know, in the digital transformation, that everything is going to be digitized, and this is what, you know, you're gonna learn in your college as well as, you know, I'm trying to pass on my message. So the only way to deal is, I know a lot of questions must have been going in your mind. What will happen to my job? I'm a marketing expert. I believe I am a marketing expert, and Jaipuria will polish me even more. Trust me, nobody can polish you as much as you can yourself. Of course, Jaipuria, you have got a platform out there as well. So you need to be, once you get into a corporate life, be open what is happening across the globe, be open to technology, and try to, you know, adapt to the change, because change is something, you know, nobody likes that. You know, I'm enjoying my Mercedes, you know, I don't want to get into Audi because I like that, you know, but I never realized that, you know, Audi has a better feature than my Mercedes version I have it, right? So example. So this is the gist of it. And, you know, there are 3 question marks I put in here is, I want, you know, there is a saying that curiosity kills the cats, right? So, you know, you understand, you figure it out when it is happening. Has it already happened? Have you been a part of it? Do you wish to, you know, enjoy the journey or not? So I will leave it, you know, this question marks as a question mark, and maybe, you know, we'll take it in the questionnaire session. So this is, now we have laid down the foundation in the first 25 minutes or so, that the digital revolution is nothing but it is going parallel to the economy to empower each and every person on the planet. You got that point, right? All right, Dr. Vartika, any questions so far before we move on? Is it interactive? People enjoying it? I don't know. You're on mute.
We have few questions. I think we can take a few questions right away because it relates to whatever like you were saying.
Okay.
So I think you had this one, you can show that photograph once of that pilot and that, and then we can take one question. This is, he's saying that, do you think in the future, digitization will reduce human work in the organization? So I'll give my viewpoint, and then we'll have, you know, Kapil saying it. Prince is the person, the student who asked me. I don't think that it will reduce human work, okay, because we cannot replace human in terms of machinery. We cannot do that. You need people who can work for machinery, who can work on machineries and with machineries rather. And then we can have, you know, the jobs will be changed. This is what I think, but then Kapil would answer it. Yes, Kapil.
So Prince Paliwal, okay, I saw that. So
he's still hiring. I think like he's still hiring human beings.
Sorry, I missed the last statement, Dr. Vartika.
You're still hiring human beings, not robots.
In a big way, yeah, of course. So
correct.
Let me show that slide, Dr. Vartika. You know, I was because Prince has asked that. So Prince, have a look at the screen, then I'll answer you. Have a look at the screen, Prince, for the next 10 seconds, and all the boys and girls, you know, have a look at this screen and try to have a caption of this picture in your mind. You know, I'm giving you 10 seconds, so everybody, you know, just try to have a caption of this picture. What is the best caption? You know, we can have it. And Prince, if you want to write down, you can write it down, you know, on the chat.
So we can write, yeah. So we can write in the chat box. People not in the question answer session, the chat box, that what does this picture means to you. Few replies. Hurry up.
20 seconds more, guys.
They're not able to write. Oh, okay, you can write in the question answer session. You can write in the question answer chat box. I'll read it out.
I believe, yeah, Dr. Vartika, they do not have the option to write down. They can only write down in QA sessions, I believe.
Correct. So you can write in the question answers chat box here. Okay, so we have got the answer. So it's a human replaced by technology. Ayush is saying replacement of human effort. That's correct. Okay.
All right. So by the time, you know, they are writing it down, so I like the way, you know, they are thinking it up. So
correct.
Replacement
of human by technology.
Okay, fair enough. So let me give you my one. Have a look at, you know, the caption which I'm going to give it 1 second. Have a look at this. In the last 10 years, both pilot and photographer lost their jobs. Yeah. So this pilot, I'm just giving a pseudo example. This pilot was very well trained pilot, and he was one of the best pilots to shot to take an aerial view for an Hollywood movie. And this is a real example I'm going to tell you guys. And the photographer was most expensive photographer going to be hired by most expensive movies ever made in Hollywood. This is a real example I'm telling you. This photographer lost his job. In a sense, this is a true fact, because now nobody hires a helicopter, and this kind of shooting doesn't happen. It's being replaced by the drone cameras, which is shown on the right side of the story as well. So now what happened, Prince and the Ayushi and all the boys and girls out there, what happened was, if you are the photographer who is keeping your eyes and ears open, who is learning the technology, I know people will ask me about Python and all. So I would say, I know a lot of people will ask me about Python and artificial intelligence. So I'll come on that part. So do not stick your minds to the books as of now. So what I'm saying is, become a photographer who is a good photographer, who can sit on the couch of the plane and shoot the movie. Also at the same time start learning how to operate a drone camera. What my point? So do not be a photographer who is well comfortable. Is I'm the boss. No one is ever a boss. Everyone is replaceable. So if you are going up, forget about Python and AI/ML, because I know when I was having a session in somewhere else on the same topic, and then everybody touch base on the same thing, automation and all. So message to you is, especially Prince, and I think one girl was there, a lot of people pointing it out. This is my message. Open your ears and eyes and learn the new technology. Now imagine if this photographer would have learned how to operate a drone. He would have hired 5 professionals, and he would have his own organization of having a good setup. So now what has happened? We are not losing jobs with the technology. The new skill set is the new skill set are coming up. So all we need to do is upgrade ourselves all the time, so that the more jobs that are coming up now. It's a myth that automation is taking all the jobs. One robot comes in, takes few jobs, generate a lot of other jobs as well. So be open to that side of it as well. Yeah. Do you
Okay,
want to
so we have one more question here. So we'll take one more question. Do you think in the future digitization will, okay, this is human work we have done. If you're not comfortable with the usage of technology, Ayushi is asking, and other languages like Python, like he talked about, and we are not from IT background, then how should we learn to be concurrent with the future world? Okay.
So I was expecting somebody will say, what's the name of the gentleman or a girl who asked this?
Ayushi.
Oh, Ayushi again, fine. So Ayushi, correlate with the photograph I showed you. The photographer doesn't need to know Python, right? All he need to know is how to operate a drone camera. So example, if somebody is into I don't know, maybe Ayushi, you want to get into marketing, fine. 10 years back, there was a concept of door-to-door marketing. You as a brand, you need to reach out to customers' bedroom, to via television marketing or anything. Now customers are also searching for you, in a sense that everything is going to be digital marketing, right? So when you're asking me about Python or these languages, not everything is related to that. Or sometimes all you need to do is, those are technological things. If you are into technology, fine, you learn Python, you will do the automation. But I will be using the product you are using. So all I need to do is to upgrade myself to start using those products, the new automated product like drone camera. Yeah, you got my point? Anything else? Question, Dr. Vartika out there? Did I answer that?
So we can go move ahead. Then we'll do more questions.
Yeah, fair enough, sir. So again, I'm wrapping up this slide that what has happened. That now we have to understand that the digital revolution is parallel to the economy. It's the only thing is, I'll keep on repeating, it's all about empowerment of every single person on the planet. That is the gist of it, right? All right, so let's move next. All right, so I'm going to give you a glimpse of the video. I would say everybody please check on your, speaker systems, because it's a 5 minutes video. Make sure you understand what it is, because we cannot repeat this one, respecting the timelines as well. I'm giving it 5 seconds time for everybody to ensure that they have the speakers inbuilt. Nobody's on a desktop, I believe. I believe audio is all good, Dr. Vatika. Audio is all good, I believe. You are on mute. Can somebody confirm his audio is good? Yes, no? Somebody from the college can confirm. I do not want boys and girls to listen without an audio. Can you?
So we're not able to hear the audio.
Oh, now?
Now it's okay.
Okay, fine. Let me play it now. 1 second.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
one sec. All right. There was a message in this video, what is happening that we are, am I audible?
Ji.
Okay, fine. Sec. All right. So the reason of, showing this video, by the way, is a very good speaker, Gerd Leonard, everybody, whosoever has an interest, can follow him on the LinkedIn, and he's a good speaker out there. So what is happening now? We are moving towards an economy wherein everything is going to be as and when needed. Example, you don't need drivers anymore, because you have Ubers, rather than having a full-time driver, people tend to prefer as and when you need that, right? Same thing is happening everywhere. So you need to understand one thing: uplift your skills in a way that whenever there is a need, you are being called upon. No, full-time jobs might be the need of the future. I'm not saying that jobs will go away, but specializations will come into the picture. Somebody is good at something, you get hired for, let's say, I'm not exactly talking about the gig economy as of now here. However, the impact is that you guys need to understand, after 2 years, are you ready for this kind of an economy? Are you ready for this kind of a change? Ideally, a lot of us, people like you and I, we don't accept the change till the time we feel like it's too late. That is the, entire message I wanted to, pass on to you guys, so that you start opening up your ears and eyes, and, you start thinking about next 5 years rather than, what you're studying right now, which you are comfortable at. The moment you get into a comfort zone, start coming out of the comfort zone as well. Yeah. I think Dr. Vartika, we can take few more questions as well. Yeah?
Sure. So here it says, as only, okay, Abhishek has this one statement, actually not question, as it only require one person to fly a drone and others loses their job.
So, everybody's worried about that. So, correct. See, whenever the drone comes in, it's a good example. Who's the gentleman, Dr. Vartika?
Abhishek.
Abhishek, so see, somebody invented the drone, somebody then is there in the manufacturing industry. There is a manufacturing plant who is actually, producing the drones. Then there is a separate unit who are maintaining those drones. Understand, for one drone, how many jobs are being created? I set up a factory, you set up a factory for the service, right? Drone gets a malfunction and then they will go to you. If it gets broken, they will come back to me to buy it. I am employing more people out there. Then we need to train people how to, operate drones. So it's not that you don't need to worry about that, you lose a job. I mean, if we ever reach that situation, then, nobody knows where the world is going towards. So the gist is, if one job goes out, there are a hell lot of million jobs comes out. However, you need to upgrade your skill set on that side of it. Right? And one more thing, important message, Abhishek and all the, aspiring master's programmers here out here. So one thing, 50% of you, or I would rather say, 80% of you would have been thinking of becoming a CXOs in a multinational companies. I would rather say 85% of you, would have been thinking one day I'll be a CXO in Amazon. One day I'll be in Microsoft or Google or, PwC or whatnot. 10 to 15% of you would have been thinking that I'll be boss of my own. So for both these, ideologies, what I'll say is, even if you are working for somebody or if you are, an employer, you have to understand that, you have to think about 5 years from now. So I think specifically to Abhishek, jobs are not going anyway. You don't need to worry. Only challenge is keep upgrading yourself. Nobody can, take you out of the skill set competency, right? Did I answer you? Dr. Vartika, did I answer him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there is a myth about, everybody gets into that.
There is a myth because these students, or I'm sure like other institute students also, they're scared that, that we will have no jobs or lesser jobs, but I don't think so. Like the job scenario is changing, that we all are witnessing. But then I don't think so that we'll not have jobs. And you people, I think the young generation is much more smarter than like me or Kapil are. So like, they will learn all these things which are being, the buzzwords. So like if I'll just take a few minutes of yours. So if I talk about marketing and sales, like typically sales or HR, just talk about. So still, apart from chatting on the chat box, we would like to speak to somebody at the call center. This is how it works now also. That human touch is required now also. So going and speaking to a chat box or to a robot, not to your HR manager with your grievance, would not help you. So that jobs are there. It just maybe new things are being added in the jobs. This could be.
Absolutely. And, I copy that. And I saw one question from a girl called Priyanshi.
Yeah.
She wrote down that everyone knows some changes needed. I'm at every stage. So what kind of changes we should change to be more effective in digital media as a student, right? Yeah. So Priyanshi, I handle my organization and, we rely heavily on the digital marketing, to reach out to the customers. And what we have done is our budget for, digital marketing used to be 5%, has been increased to, 25% in a sense, because now nobody wish to read a newspaper to, see a marketing ad. We wish to, see everything over the Google. If I want to, find out a best, let's say Mercedes dealer in the area nearby, I will just Google it rather than, looking out for an advertisement. So as a student, into media or marketing, all you need to do is be aware of the, technology coming in your domain. Somebody is into marketing, somebody is into media, somebody is into HR, somebody is into business development, talent acquisition and whatnot. So what are the latest trends and tools and technologies coming up? You need to adapt to that. And also just don't be a copycat of, whenever something good happens, we will learn that, that's now not, how you can be among the leaders of the, race. Then you will be the followers. If you want to be the leaders, all you need to do is try to be more innovative as well, rather than, just following the trend out there as well. So that's my message to Priyanshi. I'm not a media champion, but I'm telling you the gist that, how you can be on top of the race and, stand among rest of the people in the competition.
Correct. So we have this one more question saying, okay, Abhish, technology is making us lazy. Can you please have some light on it if possible? I don't think so. Technology is making us lazy.
So it's Abhishek, right? Abhishek, yeah, Abhishek Pandey. So technology is making us lazy, in a sense, good and bad both. I'll tell you an example. Yesterday I was at Delhi airport. I was flying to Goa. Today I'm in Goa right now. And when I reached the airport with my friends, I didn't do any reservation. I mean, of course, the flight reservation was there. We had no bookings of the hotel. So me and a couple of my friends, because we were being lazy, okay, kar lenge baad mein, all that, being lazy, we did our bookings when we were, about to board the flight 20 minutes prior. So is it good or bad? Yes, because we have a technology in our hand. It's been fine. We can be lazy at times. So this is a kind of a debatable question in a sense, Abhishek. It's all about you. You want to get driven by the technology, or you want it to, command yourself. It's all depends on, how we take it up. Technology brings disruptions for sure, no doubt on that. More technology is coming up. Your mind is, boggling up as well at the same time, because okay, I'll give you an example. We built innovative cars. Abhishek Pandey, this is for you. We brought in accidents, right? Accident starts happening. There was no accident before the cars were invented. We innovated medicines in the pharma segments. The poison starts coming in. We can, have a poison and we can die, suicide, right? So we invented weapons. There is a wars. So there is a dark side of everything, as I said, and that will always remain. You need to be very positive, and, your intent has to be that, you will not let technology drive you. We do not want to become a robot at one point of time. We wanted to be human, and a good moral, ethical human is my main motto I wanted to pass to you guys, rather than, giving you the technical knowledge on that side. Abhishek Pandey.
Correct. So, I think we can be positive. There are a lot of jobs and the jobs are there in the analytics sector also. No worries for that. That up from the starting of your day, or maybe from the first day of your PGDM program, you get worried about your job honge. There are lot much of opportunity. The opportunities are much more higher in number, I think now.
Absolutely, big time. Yeah, and thanks to Dr. Vartika, all the boys and girls should listen to that as well. I'm telling you, since I don't know how many of you have experienced the corporate life. I know a lot of you would have experienced the corporate life, and then you are joining the master, which is fine. So those boys and girls would understand me more precisely. But for everyone out there, the pandemic, what has happened is pandemic is when everybody thought that initially jobs will be people will be fired. There were some salary cuts in the industries initially. Somebody is laying off people, but all of it, that was all because of the emotions or sentiments. And then what we realized as an head of the organizations, head of our practice, what we realized that the digitization which was supposed to happen in the next 5 years is happening in the next 1.5 years now. Because everybody has now realized the work from home, the remote work culture. I'm right now, I'm sitting out of town, and I don't need to be at my office to to talk to you guys. Anywhere you can sit. So the importance of digitization has brought up a lot of jobs, and there are no manpower as of now in the industry to to fulfill all the demand as of now. So it's pretty obvious that everything has a good and bad on that side as well. Yeah?
Neha has one question. Does technology change the people's social behavior?
Absolutely, big time, Neha. We are actually, when we use social media, I lost that question. Where was that?
So I've deleted that.
Okay, I get that. I get, because it was answered. Fine. So it was Neha. So actually, we have becoming unsocial using the social platforms, I would rather say. We are becoming unsocial in the sense that people, husband and wife talking to each other and sitting in the same bedroom over WhatsApp. What is this going on? So the social distancing and the that and the physical distancing, everybody is on a technological gadgets these days. So I would agree on that side. There is no doubts about that.
In the offices also, we are working on more on intranet and more on emails rather than talking to each other, no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And people prefer that.
Okay, so Kapil, this is important question from Prateek. Scope of business analytics.
As per the current scenario, what is okay, good question, Prateek. It seems like, to me, Prateek comes up from a
IT background.
Corporate background. He might have I'm not I don't know, that's my wild guess. So Prateek, business analytics is going to play a lot of important role in the coming years. Reason being, even if things gets automated, the first thing is the analysis, the business analysis of anything going out, right? So it's a future. If you are thinking to pursue your future in that sort of domain, then you are going into a very wide horizon, and then you are at the right place, because business analytics is certainly going to be a big hit over the next 10 years. Nobody can predict more than that, and we don't even know that if what we are anticipating is going to be happening or not. So it's the future, and any robotics automation going to happening, the first thing is the business analytics has to happen so that the automation can happen as well.
And it's happening in all domains, like marketing analytics. We have HR analytics, we have operations. So the analytics is there everywhere. You need the data. You need to use the data. It will be there.
Using the data, so that is what using the data. Once you have the information, now everybody's using analytical tools. There are a hell lot of tools out there. Tableau and Target and Power BI and ClickView and whatnot and all. So using the data, then we again reinvent something. When once we have the data in a proper format, then we have to reinvent. Then again this will keep on going on.
Correct. So 5G will be an influencer for digital revolution in India.
It is Anirudh Sharma. Absolutely, Anirudh. So imagine the life, imagine the life when there were no mobile phones. There were like landline phones. So somebody going from Delhi to Gurgaon 20 years back to meet somebody, he's not aware about, whether the person will be available or not, then he has to come back because the person is not available, he's gone to Mumbai, right? So 5G is, even if after 5G, if 6G or 7G will comes in, 5G is basically to fasten up our speed. And what we spoke in the previous slides is more fast information, more fast interactions, more fast transactions is what is the needed offer. So 5G is an enhanced version of what we have already, and certainly it will be a digital influencer, and India is all set to rock into the 5G world. Trust me, in the next 3-4 years, telecom companies are going through a lot of disruption at this moment as well. If you talk to some telecom gurus out there, I keep on talking to people in the telecom industry. So they tell me that the big disruption is about to happen in India, and India is now pretty much ready for the 5G infrastructurally, I would say.
So Kapil, you may wrap up the session. We are at 11:56, right on time.
Oh wow, it's a good. We didn't realize, we are bang on time, I would say. And there are a lot of questions coming in from other people. I saw that Gunjan is asking about RPA. Sorry, Gunjan, I could not take all those questions, but I believe you guys got the gist. Do not limit yourself to technology. Be a part of the bigger economy. Don't worry about if I'm a digital marketing person, or maybe I'm into talent acquisition, or I'm into technology. Don't worry on that side of it. Focus on realizing that what is the need of an hour. Try to always think about 5 to 7 years from now onwards, and be open for a change. I mean, if you're open for a change, and don't worry at all that jobs will go away. You will all will be very, very successful individuals down the line. I can assure you on that side. I will full faith on that side. A huge opportunity coming out in the market now, right? There's no doubt.
Okay. So thank you, Kapil. Thank you so much for your time on a weekend here. So you have, given your time to the students, I should say to the newbies, and it was an enriching session for the students. Hope to see you soon in person when the colleges are running offline. So that would be more interactive session.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. I would say have a happy weekend, all of you out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.